When I was a kid, my dad was an airline pilot, and he wasn't around very much. So it was basically my mother, my brother, and myself. And we traveled quite a bit. And every summer we would go out to a homestead there in New York. We had a family farm. We'd been there since the origins of the universe. And my uncle was out there. He lived there also. And back in the 1970s, when I was a little kid, I was, 7, 8, 10, around that age, when we would hang out, we had this thing we used to do with my uncle, and we had 2 3-wheelers. That's how far back we're going. Back when I actually had 3-wheelers. And for some reason, we got into this routine where my uncle would chase us on the 3-wheeler on the farm. We'd run between the house and the barn, and my grandparents had an RV, and we would jump up on the ladder on the back. And at the time, my brother and I were absolutely convinced he was trying to run us over. And I don't think he was actually trying to run us over, but based on the sounds of the motor, I think he was. And we would run around, and my brother and I ate that stuff up. And that was, as strange as this may sound, that is some of my best memories of childhood, was being chased around on this 3-wheeler by my uncle. It was just entertainment that to this day, 45 years later, I still remember. Which parlays me into a friend of mine I haven't talked to in years. His name was Danny. And Danny his sister had some daughters, so he had a few nieces, and they're all over at Grandma's house. The niece is in the back in her bedroom with her friends, and they're doing whatever little girls do one night. He goes outside, walks around the house, and puts his hands up on the glass and goes, "Wah!" Then he runs back around the house and goes in the living room, and everybody watches this. And he sits down. Of course, the girls come out and they go, "There's somebody out there!" And he, of course, goes out, "Let me go look." And he goes out and walks around the house. Of course, there's nothing there. And then they go back in their room, and 15 minutes later, he runs outside, goes around the house, "Wah!" Comes back around, and he ends up running, and they start coming down the hall. So he runs across the living room and jumps and lands on the couch, and he's literally, sitting like this, but he's bouncing on the couch from the energy. And of course, they come out and do it again. And that got me thinking about something, and that is, let kids enjoy their youth. Let them enjoy childhood, because the day's going to come when the realities of the world are going to slap them in the face. So as long as they're kids, let them have fun. Do things that they will be entertained by. Do things they'll remember, because I certainly remember being chased all around on the 3-wheeler. That's one of my more fun memories of my childhood. So I guess my point is, be that uncle, be that aunt, be that person that goes out of their way to make a kid's childhood more fun. Just do your part. Just because you're, set in your ways and you're tired and life's got you beat down like we all get, go out there and do that thing to let them have their joy when they can. Because like I said, all these years later, I still remember that very vividly. And I imagine his nieces eventually got the story about what was going on, or they figured it out at some point. And that just randomly popped into my head today. All right, take care.